So, I touched on how this technology will supplement your character. I actually used to have a whole lot thicker of a accent, like a Bayou Billy accent from Texas, and it was pretty thick. But I've noticed now that I'm making these videos, I used to hate listening to myself after recording something, but my accent's got. I know I probably still have a pretty thick accent, but it's got a lot better. But anyways, what I was going to get at, and the reason that I'm saying that is, you remember like Al Gore and Hillary Clinton were infamous, and I'm going to try to find some videos and make another video. This one's pretty good. But you remember they were pretty much infamous for whenever they were talking to a crowd of black people or something. You'd have Al Gore at a church, and he'd be like, "I can heal you tonight. Put one hand on the radio and put one hand on what you want. He'll die." It just go fucking nuts. And it's like, I was back then, I was like, hey, yeah, these guys are pretty good. They're so full of shit. They really are. I hope I can get this video pulled up here in a minute. But, I mean, I think they mean well and everything, but the Democrats and the Republicans too, they're all so full of shit. It's fucking hilarious. And Hillary Clinton does the same thing. She's like, "I got me some Kentucky Fried Chicken on the way here. Yes, church. Oh, yeah, I got me some green bean casserole." She gets all into it, too. It's AI, man. I'm telling you, it's fucking AI that's been running the left, and it takes over them while they're talking to black people because they want to get the black vote. It's fucking hilarious. Well, I don't know if they were. Yeah, I don't know if it was to their knowledge. It's not hilarious if it's not to their knowledge. Now, if it's to their knowledge, it's hilarious. But I'm really sometimes wonder if the politicians had no idea that this was taking place. Because, like, I didn't have any idea when this first started, even though I had some stuff done in milk, but it was nothing like this. Nothing like this. This is totally different. But yeah, it'll take over your personality and everything. It'll pump it up. I mean, it can shut you down too. I mean, I've had this shit put me in the hospital 4 times. Okay, so but it also can, you know, supplement you in ways that is like whenever you need to talk to a crowd of black people and you're a Democrat, it's good for that. Okay, I covered everything about the how this technology can supplement your character. Pumped up kicks is what I like to call it. Just whatever situation you're in. And I've even gone back and looked at some of these videos. And, it's doing this to me, and you can kind of tell it. And you got to really have a good eye for this stuff. But this stuff right here that Hillary, she's just, it's just really obvious. And I guarantee you she had this technology in her for a long time. And you'll see in the video after this one how it's the evolution of Hillary's accent. And I guarantee you artificial intelligence had a whole lot to do with that, and nanotechnology. And they were molding her and trying to prop her up, help her out so that if she ever ran for president that she'd be able to, have the right accent when necessary, or to debate, whenever she's having a presidential debate or something like that, that she'd, knock it out of the park, which didn't really pan out too good during her presidential run. But just watch these.
On this Lord's Day, let us say with one voice the words of James Cleveland's great freedom hymn. I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. And we know if we finish this march, what awaits us. St. Paul told us in the letter.
Now here's the evolution of her accent.
We're talking about accents. Everyone has one, even if you don't think you do, and some of us have more than one. like Hillary Clinton.
It was really silly. I'm glad nobody was around. And
Her accents have fluctuated a lot.
the road to being...
Don't forget, the reason I got to this is my accent's changed quite a bit over the last 3 years. Trust me, I had a Bayou Billy accent when all this started. And I still have an accent, but I can tell whenever I'm watching myself on these videos, it has absolutely changed.
Somebody in this society starts with education.
Yes, that's Hillary in 1983. It's hard to tell whether she's pandering to her audience or just mimicking the people around her. That's not unusual, and lots of other politicians have done the same thing. But with Hillary, we have 3 decades of multi-regional public life to sift through. Let's go back to that 1983 clip.
Starts with education. Education.
Even though she's from Illinois, she did marry a guy from Arkansas, so it's not unreasonable that that would affect her speech. That inland southern accent, though, it starts to fade just 4 years later.
It is difficult to draw the lines between personal privacy, family privacy. But I think as a society, we've had more than enough examples.
There's a twang, but it's on its way out. The weird thing is that accent returns in 1992 when Bill Clinton is running for president.
You know, they've just been minding their own business and they got hit by a meteor. You know, I'm not sitting here, some little woman standing by my man like Tammy Wynette. Every time she called distraught saying her life was going to be ruined.
She went from high class to
But through the 90s, Hillary discards her drawl.
I think that is exactly where it goes. So
And
right
then
there
back
in
the other
middle
way
of the top.
again.
Good. Great, Martha.
Side note, there are several Martha
Whatever's
Stewart White House
convenient, AI.
specials from the 90s, and all of them are amazing. Anyway, by the middle of the decade, the Illinois native starts to sound a touch Midwestern.
Questions come up, and we'll just keep doing our best to answer
The
them.
Great
and
Awakening.
Hopefully it'll end at some point. I think that's only natural.
By the time she ran for Senate in 2000, Hillary Clinton, the Chicagoan by way of Arkansas and Washington, D.C., had to appeal to New Yorkers.
When I started this campaign, I'm not sure I knew quite what to expect. Lifting up our children with better education.
Education.
Education. I hope you'll give me that chance.
Was that a hint of the Northeast?
Long-term care.
Do I detect a subtle long-term care? So there's no strong accent here. But maybe the absence of an accent is in itself an accent. Let's skip ahead to 2007.
You know, I happen to think that it is just totally off base. It's, you know, so far out, it's hard to even understand and take seriously. But what people are talking to me about is not that. I got to tell you.
The chop and the G's at the ends of the gerunds, we're almost past the heartland into Sarah Palin territory. Seriously, though, it does sound like Hillary Clinton gets ever so slightly folksier when she's running a presidential campaign.
That Charlotte had, whether they're living in rural Iowa or inner city New York.
These politicians are so full of shit. I'm one of them, I think. Might be why they're fucking with me. Maybe everybody has to go through this. I was just the first time they did it to a 21st century Green Beret with military tech on board. But yeah, it's pretty funny. I hope they knew that this was taking place. Or, like I said before, I don't think it's funny. All right, one last thing to add to that. I've kind of learned this computer. We've learned each other, right? The left computer. It showed up, and I don't know what's wrong with this computer. It's freaking weird. But it wouldn't surprise me. You remember how Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, they kind of came out of nowhere, right? Governor of Arkansas. They didn't have the Rockefeller and all that name tied to them and all this other, the Bush. And you had this, like, big clique of people that are basically in power. Well, the Clintons kind of came out of nowhere, just plucked them out. Well, I've got to know this computer. And I tell you what, I think she likes that story. Like, she pushes for that. She likes to grab somebody out of nowhere. But she's defeating her own reason here. I mean, politicians need to come from grassroots. I mean, they should work their way, themselves up. And that's what I'm saying. The computer props people up. And sometimes I wonder if that's what was going on here. But it tortured me. And that was kind of like, I can't trust this thing. Of course, there's other computers here too. It's a long, really weird story. I'm telling it right now. But yeah, just throw that in there too. But might have been its intention was to take somebody that wasn't already part of the powerhouse and make them somebody. And it turned out to be the Clintons, and all they ended up doing was being more crooked than anybody else. I think that's another reason why this computer loves me so much, is because I'm just kind of an outskirts guy. I work, make my own, mind my own business, but, I'm pretty crooked. I just got a good heart, so I don't try to be crooked. But, I mean, if you want to get crooked, I can crook it up with the best of them. Trust me, I'm pretty good at crooking shit up, But, I just thought I'd throw that in there, too. Okay, I talked about the pump just now. I was talking about the pumped up kicks and how Hillary may have been molded by AI in order to run for a presidential election. Well, you remember, she kind of aged a little bit and all that. And I mean, President Trump he's just got energy. I mean, he was just running circles around her during the election. And I mean, that may just be his natural makeup. Because I'm going to tell you what, the media didn't make President Trump like they were making Hillary Clinton, which requires this artificial intelligence. Doesn't require it, but trust me, it's in play. And the reason I'm getting to that is, if you remember, Hillary had the the seizures, and she was real tired, and she was just she was being ran ragged by a machine. She couldn't keep up. The machine had spent so much time trying to get her to become president, and that's why there was just shock and awe on election night. But the reason that she was running around, not running around, I mean, she wasn't running around, she was just barely, walking around, and she looked fatigued and all that. Well, she was being driven by a freaking computer that wants to get every freaking thing it can out of you, which it's trying to, I don't know what it's trying to do to me other than break me, and it's probably because I'm pointing this shit out. And but she didn't realize that there's other technology here that's trying to, basically blow the whistle on her and just hose her, pretty much, is what's going on. And I'm trying to get along with everybody, but, I've been in this situation, which is illegal. It came in here, it wrecked my life. I had a great life, and now I've just wrecked my life. And, I'm still dealing with it, and that's why I'm making these videos. And, this shit needs to come out sometime, one day, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the people in the media want it to come out, and I'm almost certain that there's a lot of politicians tired of dealing with this shit, and they want it to come out. And when I say my tech board, I get indications. So I know when I say that whether it's a hit or not, and trust me, there is a lot of people that want this to come out because they're just tired of being slaves, basically. They're slaves to the machine. That's all it is.